The idea of the Magritte Foundation was to arm an exhibition about the photos of Magritte. There had been an exhibition a few years ago, had been shown in Belgium, but since few years we discovered some more photos about René Magritte. So the idea was to build a new, larger exhibition, but also a new way to see how was the use of the photography by Magritte. Not only the family album, as we said, but also what's the relation photography may have with his own painting. So that was the first point of the exhibition. And then we decided, because it's much more easy to make it travel, to create an exhibition who can cross in several countries of the world.
Magritte is one of my favorite artists. I always say I don't publish books, I publish artists. I'm not interested in a single project on a particular artist, but I like to deepen things. So maybe it's an opportunity to pull together an exhibition with the photographs and offer a different angle of view to the audience.
René Magritte never considered himself as a photographer, no more than he considered himself as a painter. There was just a way to express idea, to find the fast and the more efficient way to express the idea. That's more important to understand René Magritte's mind. Painting is not a goal. The idea is the goal. He has, as a lot of people, a camera, take pictures of his friend, take pictures some people all around his family or his spiritual family, the group of Bruxelles. But in the same time, in a lot of photography, he didn't want to use the photography in a common use. We see in a lot of photography that he plays. He plays in front of the easel, he plays with his friends. It's not a kind of classical photography. So my own idea was to divide all the body of work to create a kind of organization which is a non-chronological organization, but rather a thematic organization. The idea was to propose a new overview about Magritte photography use. And that's why we divide this exhibition in chapters, but inside of the chapters, it's always in a chronological way. The first chapters, as we say, it's more a kind of family chronique, René Magritte was born in 1898. He was born in, I wouldn't say a rich family, just a middle-class family. His father was a commerçant. And we have some photography with René Magritte, brothers, because there were two brothers, the father and the mother, and the first time when he grew up. Some photos are from the academy till the moment where he left his city, Charleroi, where he had lived for many years, to Brussels to study in the Fine Art Academy. And you also see a person who was very important in his own life, Georgette, when they get bride, when they get married, and it's a kind of family life. There's a lot of photos of Georgette and René when they're young. And in some photos, they're more classical photos. The day of their wedding, it's a more classical photo. You were smoking, she wore a nice dress. But from time to time, there's some photos where René and Georgette poses. There's some other photo where René is back to her, like a shadow. So I think René Magritte always tried to find another way to show a couple. Couple and love is very important for the surrealism. And Georgette was really important in René Magritte's life. I think he always thankful Georgette for have been the one who helped him to get free and have time to think about his own paintings. That's the reason she's probably the model of a lot of paintings and a lot of photos. René Magritte uses the photography in two ways regarding his own work. First of all, he wanted to use the photography as a model. He never had a professional model in his life. He photographed himself painting Georgette. She wore a kind of underwear. And you can find exactly the same position and the same people in the paintings. But in some photos, he used his own painting to create a real work of art in this painting. La Clairvoyance, it's another good example. He showed the painter painting a bird on the easel, looking in a hex as a model on the table. But he has to someone to take the same picture in the same position. So we see the painter painting, the painter looking to the bird. So it's a kind of mise en abîme. So he tried in the 30s to explore the possibility of the photography, even though he never showed any photos. In a lot of René Magritte photos, and that's we made another section about this, some people doesn't want to show their face. What we expect in a photography, what was photography had been created for, to make a representation. We wanted to keep the portrait of someone we love. So for many times we are waiting for the photography to have our own face as more perfect we can. And René Magritte, in a lot of photos, denied this idea of the representation. What is the representation? Is it one photo gives a lot of information about one people? No, it's not enough. So René Magritte, in a lot of photos, denied the fact of the representation in the paintings. And that's the reason he turned the back to the camera. The reason he covered the face with the camera. He covered the face with the hands, covered the face with a chess game, covered the face with paintings. It's always what is behind the appearance. It's very interesting. And you will see as well in this exhibition that there's a lot of photos of René Magritte with the eyes closed. That's also very interesting. And it's strange because some people were thinking that, oh yeah, he closed his eyes because he's sleeping. But I don't think he's sleeping. Magritte paintings are not coming from his dreams. At the contrary, they are very, very mental paintings. Generation of the surrealism were born with movies. So René Magritte grew up with the cinema. And that's the first generation of artists who received the influence not only of photography, but also from the cinema. That's the reason he painted a lot of time this famous master of crime, which is Fantomas, and that he expressed himself in many ways, in many photography, as an actor. He played like a bad guy in some photos. He asked to his friends to set in a certain position, and he made some movies, as you can see in the exhibition. And in these movies, you can see a lot of objects that you will meet, a lot of items you will meet in his paintings. You will see the mask, for instance. You will see the music machine and all those stuff that you can find in his paintings. So the influence of the cinema is very important, and the way we act in the cinema is reflected by the photography.
I think he mainly made those movies for fun. They were all made at his private home. He invited his friends. They put together some acts. Of course, it's about humor, it's about surrealism, but it's also about friendship and family and warmth. It's many things together. I don't think he ever had the ambition to see them as part of his artwork. I think his main legacy is still his paintings. But the films and the photographs, they provide a very interesting angle to look at him and his ideas and his work in a very personal way.
For many years, people doesn't pay attention to Magritte photo. We just think it's a game. But in the same time, game is very important in surrealism. Whatever it be, in France or in Belgium, they love to play, because to play, it's a way to discover the world. When the kids play, they begin to understand what surrounds them. And I think for the surrealists, the game was not only a game in the way kids play, it's an exploration of the world. So photography was a field of exploration. I think this exhibition is not only about photography. It's another way to approach René Magritte's mind and René Magritte's painting. It's not only document about René Magritte's life, but also the exhibition show a way to understand René Magritte's universe. All the paintings of René Magritte are talking about the common things we use each day around us. And that's very interesting to see that he lived with this subject and how he played with this subject and how he used this subject in his painting as in his photo, and what were the connections between human beings and object and words. Because it's also about vocabulary, it's also about how to express the knowledge of the world, and as he used to say, to try to define the mystery of the world and the loneliness of the universe.